Hey guys, National Master Sean Lei here with another chess video for you guys here today. Today we're going to do the fourth part of the chess strategy series, How to Make a Chess Strategy for Beginners. And today we're going to be focusing on the second part of weaknesses, which has to do with short-term weaknesses. In case you guys forgot, weaknesses in chess are just things that are easily attacked but not easily defended by your opponent. Last time, we talked about long-term weaknesses, which has to do with weaknesses that stay for a very long time. If you guys forgot how to take advantage of them, how you do that is you do step 1, blockade them, stop them from moving. And step 2, you put pressure on them until they break. This works because they are usually pawns that usually can't really do anything and can't really get out of the situation they're in. But today, we're going to be talking about the second type of weakness, which is a short-term weakness. And from my experience, are the ones that are actually much harder to find. Because unlike a long-term weakness, these things don't stay for a very long time. So right now, I want you guys to pause your videos and not really approach this puzzle in front of you right now, but think to yourself about what different examples of long-term weaknesses are. For example, in this position in front of us, the short-term weakness here is an uncastled king. So I want you guys to pause right now and list at least one other one. All right. So I hope you guys paused your videos, and if you guys thought about it for a little bit, I think undeveloped pieces are a very easy weakness, a short-term weakness to come up with, because even though our opponent may be just a few moves away from castling or developing his pieces, if we, the attacker, don't give them the time to do so, well then they will never be able to develop. So one thing you will notice is that in many chess games, right, there will always be a battle between short-term versus long-term weaknesses, and whoever is able to survive until the end game will usually be the one who is victorious if they have the long-term weakness, and if they have the short-term weakness, they want to finish the game fast. Otherwise, their opponent's short-term weakness will just disappear. I hope that's a little bit understandable. If it's not, let's go to this puzzle in front of us in order to help us figure things out. So this puzzle in front of us is one that comes out from one of my favorite openings, as you guys know, the Scotch Gambit. Now, this opening begins with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, e takes d4, bishop c4, bishop b4 check, c3, d takes c3, castle, and then knight d7, knight ge7, b takes c3, and bishop c5. So in this position over here, it is white's move. And white, as you can see, has castled his king, while black has not really castled his king. And now, this is a short-term weakness because if I ask you how many moves it would take for white to waste right now in order for black to have a way better position right now, the answer is just one. Black castles, he's better because he is up a pawn. Being down material is a long-term weakness because it's not really easy for us to get the material back in most cases, especially in this one over here. So now we have to try to use our pieces that can potentially come out to take advantage of black's uncastled king. Now, how do we take advantage of a short-term weakness? There are two steps again, and the first step is we want to gain tempo. Tempo is basically just a free move we can get that forces our opponent to defend against us and not allow them to do the move that they want to do. For example, in this position, we have a very good move that forces our opponent to not be able to castle. I want you guys to help me figure that out right now. Can you guys pause the videos and help me determine what you think is the best move here for white? I'll give you guys a couple seconds. And for those of us who wants a clue for this puzzle, it's probably not the move that you guys are thinking of. Because it seems to me after this move, you might be wondering to yourself, can't black just castle? And their answer would be no. So I think I've given you guys enough time. The best move here for white is knight g5. And you might be wondering to yourself, wait, knight g5 is a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, can't black just castle here and defend against the threat that you were having over here, right? We're threatening to just take this pawn and win the queen. And that's pretty simple. We just win the game. Now, after black castles, this is where you would do the second step of short-term weakness, which is take the initiative. What the initiative is, it's very simple. It's just you doing moves that give you tempo, 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 over and over and over again, until your opponent cannot hold on any longer. So in this position over here, white has an amazing, amazing, amazing move. And if you guys can help me find it, that would be great. So pause your videos once again, and we'll get straight to it. So the move here is queen h5. And queen h5 does two things. It's not too hard to see. We're forking this pawn on h7, threatening checkmate. If black plays something silly like g6, checkmate right there. But if they defend it, which is the only move, h6, we can take this pawn over here, attacking the queen. The queen has to move away if it doesn't want to get captured. And then we can double check over here. I hope you guys saw this double check. Double checks, for all you beginners out there, is a special type of check because we're checking them with two different pieces. Now this is special because there's only one way to ever get out of the discover check, and that's by moving the king. So let's say the king goes to h8. If the knight comes here, check again, it's another double check, so the king is forced to move again. It moves over here. And in one move, we have a checkmate, which is queen h8 checkmate. So castling is actually very strong here. It's actually not very strong here because of this tactic here. And if your opponent falls for this, well, you get an easy win over here. But let's say our opponent's not that silly, right? And he plays the best move possible in this variation. I hope you guys can figure that out. The best move is 95. But 95 is actually a move that we're happy to see because this move shows that while black is able to defend against the threat, that wasn't a threat that we were hoping to win the game off of, right? It's just a simple threat that stops our opponent from castling, and that's the main idea. If our opponent castled, well, we win the game very easily, but that's not the main point. The main point here is that we stop our opponent from castling, and our opponent cannot castle yet, which means we still have more time, more tempos for us to take advantage. So I want you guys to pause your videos over here and try to think of more ways to gain tempo or to gain a small advantage here. I've played positions like these many, many, many times at this point, and I've won many, many, many games in positions like this because of these two techniques that I'm helping you guys find. So the best move is knight takes f7 still. And you might be wondering, hey, the knight can take back, and that's true. But when the bishop captures back and king captures here, the point here is that we can play queen h5 check. And if he plays g6 or knight g6 or just king g8, we can take the bishop back here. And now we converted our short-term advantage to a long-term advantage here, correct? Because we got our pawn back and we have our very strong queen, right? But our opponent does not have the center, which is a long-term weakness, and his king is still not castled or in a very good spot, which is, again, another short-term weakness. So that's the main thing you want to do when you have a short-term weakness. Against weaker opponents, you want to just win the game outright because they're not able to defend properly. But against stronger players who know what they're doing, sometimes you're not able to do that. But what you are able to do is basically convert your short-term advantage to a long-term one, just as in this position over here. I hope you guys understood a lot from this video. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask me, because this lesson is a little bit more complicated compared to the last 3 lessons that we had so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more exhilarating chess content or just want to learn more about this series or about anything in chess, you can link them or comment them in the comment section below. And again, of course, if you guys enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe for more Sean Lei chess development, chess content here on YouTube. See you guys around.